But, you see, it was just fate that you survived that. You had one
Something
last golden egg to give.
iconic.
Welcome back to R&R with Jake. Today we're going to be talking about Ironheart again. However, today I'm not going to do the same full breakdown I did of episode 4 through 6 like I did with 1 through 3. Today I'm mainly just going to be breaking down why Riri Williams Ironheart is inherently not a good character. First off, and one of the main things is just that she's inherently very selfish. We never see her go out of her way to try and help anyone or save anyone, and at no point in the show, not a single time, does she save a bystander or a civilian from some kind of conflict or so much as help someone cross the street. She literally just gives no effort towards actually helping other people. And obviously, being selfish, all she really cares about is herself and her own pursuit of greatness or perceived greatness and being iconic. That's all she really wants in the show, is for other people to continually acknowledge how great she is, even though, she's gone through struggles and she might not have the same resources as everybody else, so she might not actually accomplish anything great. It's that people still acknowledge how great she is. Next up is that she's really just not all that intelligent, which when you base a character's entire personality, arc, motivation, if you can call it that, but you really can't. If you base everything about a character around them being intelligent and then they constantly do extremely unintelligent, stupid things, that really just doesn't work. The show constantly talks about how she's smarter than Tony Stark and pretty much just the smartest person on the planet Earth. But she can't figure out a power source like Tony did, and she can't figure out how to make an AI, and when she accidentally makes Natalie the AI, she can't figure out how she did it, or how to undo it, or how to do it again. She just kind of stumbled onto it and did it by accident. Whereas Tony, even with very little resources, was able to create his first suit in a cave with a box of scraps. Whereas Riri, no matter how much or how little resources she has, it is never enough. When she was with MIT still, wasn't enough resources for her, and she ended up ruining that, which we'll get to a little more later. But that selfishness to always be acknowledged and feel the need to make the suit, not to help people, but just for her own gain, is what pushes her to do a lot of the poor stuff that we're going to get to here in a minute. Next up, I'm going to merge these two together. I'm going to talk about her irresponsibility as well as her lack of morals. First of all, she's just not at all accountable, and she blames all of her problems in any situation, somehow diverting it to, oh, this was a bad situation, that's why I had to do this. Oh, this person did this, and that's why I had to do this terrible thing. She constantly finds an excuse to not hold herself accountable for all the bad stuff she does. Some examples of this are her plagiarism at MIT that got her kicked out of the school. Her reasoning was that she didn't have enough money like Tony Stark did, which doesn't really make sense to me because she had university funding, and obviously that's not billions and billions of dollars, but she had consistent monetary and moral support in making her suit, and that wasn't enough for her because she wasn't constantly being praised for how great she was. Then she joined the crew of criminals and became a criminal herself just so she could get more money for the suit so that she can become iconic. Then she got a guard shot and allowed Parker / the Hood to kill the Heirloom CEO as well as many other guards and just didn't do anything about it, and her only real excuses there were, oh, I didn't want that to happen, but she never actually took any action to stop those things. Then she just lets John die after their fight, her excuse for that being that, he did try to kill her, but that's because he saw her with a piece of the hood, assumed that she had killed his cousin, and she did no explaining, she just started fighting. She also let John die when she easily could have saved him with the suit because she was having a panic attack. Then she got Joe / Ezekiel Stain sent to prison by leaving some of his tech on the scene of a crime and getting him convicted instead of her. The only real accountability she showed for this is she went and visited Zeke in prison and basically just said, sorry bro, I didn't mean to, and naturally he was extremely upset and ended up becoming a villain and helping Parker. And last and most egregious of all, she literally made a deal with Mephisto, who is essentially the MCU devil.
Well, I go by a lot of names. Some of them are actually a bit cruel and hurtful to me. But I like you, Riri, so you can call me.
This is my wife.
She literally made a deal with the devil for no reason. It wasn't, oh, I need to do this so I can save all of these people. It was for selfish reasons. She literally made a deal with the devil to bring her friend back from the dead who had died years before. And lastly, I just want to address her general lack of motivation. Motivation is one of the main things that makes and drives a good character, and it is very lacking in this show with Ironheart. She isn't actually driven to help other people by her own moral code or some outside thing like something happened to her or something happened to a family member. She's not driven by anything like that. She isn't actually driven to help people at all. And when she's doing all that, committing those crimes, allowing people to get hurt, generally not helping people, there's no sense of urgency, some deadline, something pushing her to do all that. It's not like her mom's going to lose her house, so she needs money for someone else. So she joins the crew and does the heist and all of that. She isn't driven by anything for other people. It is exclusively, I want money so I can make a better suit for me. And lastly is she puts all of these made up pressures and quote unquote deadlines on herself. There's nothing really pushing her. It's all any pressure she has, any stress she has, she originally put on herself or put herself in the scenario where the pressure would be applied. Like she put herself with the heist crew and that's where all the bad things happened. She didn't need to do that. She could have just said no, figured out another way to get money for the suit, and carried on being a good person. Instead, she went with the heist crew, committed several crimes, allowed people to be killed, and ended up making a deal with the devil. This show is all around just really terrible. The characters, the plot, none of it is good. It is all really bad. I would not recommend watching it if you haven't started already. If you have already started, don't bother finishing. It's not a good conclusion. It only gets worse. Ironheart is genuinely one of the worst shows I've ever watched, if not the single worst show I've ever watched, mainly due to the fact that their main character is iconically unbearable.